Welcome to the EVready Podcast, featuring industry leaders and their perspectives on electrification, hosted by EVready Energy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the EVready Podcast. My name is Chris Nihan, and I'm lucky enough to have the ChargePoint automotive team on the call today. Nate Giannetto, Shannon Murphy, and Bobby Snyder. If you guys don't mind introducing yourselves and telling us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, happy to, Chris. Nate Giannetto. I'm from the ChargePoint automotive team. I work every day with OEMs and large corporate auto dealer groups and individual dealers for their EV charging solutions. My background, I've spent about 15 years in automotive, most of that time with General Motors. So thanks so much for having me, Chris.
Awesome. Bobby?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Bobby Snyder. I've been with ChargePoint for about 3 years now, spending about half of it in the automotive vertical and the other half on the commercial fleet dealer side. So I've been working with commercial dealerships, OEM groups for my entire EV career. Prior to this was in the transportation vertical, working on various other transportation solutions that we can talk about another time, but I'll pass it on over to Shannon Murphy.
Thanks so much, Bobby. Hello, I am Shannon Murphy, the Automotive Partnerships Manager for North America Dealer Strategy. So my main role is to work directly with the OEMs on what we think is the best option for charging in dealerships. My background is from Tesla. So I spent about 7 years at Tesla working in the dealerships. So I know the ins and outs of selling and delivering EVs at scale. And I've been at ChargePoint about 3 years.
Awesome. Thank you. And so if you go to, I would say 7 out of every 10 dealerships in the United States right now, they have a ChargePoint charger. ChargePoint's been a leader in the automotive industry for, a decade now, but have really been honing in on the story, the message, the solutions over the past several years. And that's what I'm excited to talk to you guys about today within the automotive space. So I'm going to start by kicking this off to Nate. Nate, talk to us a little bit about ChargePoint's ecosystem and why that's so important to car dealerships.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. So at our core, our ecosystem is, I'll use the term robust, very extensive product lineup between hardware and software. Our products are all designed primarily for auto customers, dealers, and OEMs. One of the big differentiators for ChargePoint is that, we're at this point working with every major OEM in some form or fashion. In many cases, we're supporting EV charger deployments at their corporate HQ, their workplace, assembly plants. In some cases, we're helping develop EV dealer programs for their respective dealer network for upcoming product launches. And of course, in a lot of cases, we're helping them develop residential programs, helping fill product gaps where they may not have something in place. So that's really where I see a key differentiator for our team is that we're deeply rooted with all of the automotive OEMs with products that are designed to support them and their dealer partners.
Awesome. And Bobby, can you talk to me about ChargePoint software, how it relates to support and hardware and why it's so valuable?
Yeah, absolutely. We are a vertically integrated solution. So ChargePoint provides the hardware, the software, the service and support, warranty-related services. So being an all-stop shop provides that, once again, mission-critical response time, especially for the investment that you're putting into it. You get a mission-critical support in response to that. But having a robust software platform that allows you to have a bird's eye view on not just one location, all your chargers at one location, but everyone within your dealership org or your depot mindset allows you to truly monetize your chargers, whether they're publicly accessible, open to the public, 50-50 split, really tailoring to your business operations. ChargePoint gives you the tools and resources to really customize your charger fleet.
Hey, Chris, one thing I'll just add to Bobby's point. One thing that becomes very clear about our ecosystem is it's designed to be very flexible and customer friendly. So, one of the dynamics that we seem to run into a lot on the automotive side is just a wide range of how the products will be used, right? There's a lot of projects in which we're designing something for a corporate setting where there's a high level of oversight. In many cases, that's also complemented with the need to have certain access controls and technology used at a local or regional level. And our products need to be flexible enough that they can support both sides of that coin. So a lot of what we're doing, again, in many cases, is supporting large auto dealer groups who are making hefty investments and big bets. And the expectation is that the products that we are offering them are going to be highly flexible now and into the future, and that they offer a very clear level of future proofing so that they're making an investment that they can count on from a company that's going to be around just as long as they are.
So a lot of times what I see when I'm talking to car dealer groups or dealerships is they get marketed down to. And what I mean by that is companies sell them products that they either think that the dealership will say yes to, maybe not necessarily knowing all the right questions to ask, or they're providing them with a product that is going to become obsolete in 2 years. I think about 24 kilowatt units. I think about non-replaceable cables. I think about charging stations with the wrong ports on them. I think about chargers that maybe they don't have vehicle to grid. And sometimes that's okay. In many cases, that's okay. But in many cases, that's an opportunity. So can you talk a little bit about like ChargePoint's technology and some of the things that ChargePoint's done with it in the past, let's call it 6 months, to differentiate the product?
Yeah, I'll say there's certainly a few items that we've really focused in on over the last several years. One is the modularity of our products. So you've really seen, in addition to software, you've seen our hardware transition to a more flexible set of products. So, things that used to not be a consideration in the past, cable and connector swaps, increasing power within the product itself, et cetera. Those are becoming very commonplace offerings within the ChargePoint portfolio. One big aspect of what's happening across the industry right now is the evolution of the NACS, a connector type, what a lot of people refer to as the Tesla connector. So, every OEM is kind of steadily making their way towards that transition, and everyone is on a different timeline. And really, in some cases, that makes it a very difficult solution to plan for if you're an auto dealer, an OEM, a large group, et cetera. So one of the things we've done to try to combat that is you see our products now have the opportunity to have an omni port, which is really the opportunity for our products to be flexible no matter what type of vehicle is charging. So we're starting to offer that across the full gamut of our most popular AC level 2 executions, all the way up to our ultra fast level 3 chargers. So the goal is that any customer who's either wanting to retrofit old stations to have that capability, they can do that. Or if they want to purchase new products with it, it will come with those built-in adapters, which for an auto dealer is an important thing to know that you're going to have something that's, again, future-proofed, and you don't have to use temporary adapters that can be lost, broken, stolen, right? That you have something that's a permanent solution built for an auto dealership application.
Yeah, and just to touch on that as well, you were saying even theft. There are cable cutters out there that we all know and you see, whether it's on social media or the news, but ChargePoint even announced our anti-theft cable protection system, where it automatically notifies the nearest emergency department, where we can dispatch services to inspect the station. And so really to lead the charge in that aspect, and we release this information to other EV charging companies because we want to support the EV industry for our driver network to improve the overall experience. So something else I wanted to add there.
Yeah, the other one I'm excited about is the vehicle to grid chargers. And like if you're a car dealership, like the vision of the future, you get 30 Ford Lightnings, you get 30 Sierras, you get 30 Silverados at certain times of the day, using the vehicle to inject back into the grid using charger technology that ChargePoint has to get paid $10,000, $100,000, potentially more. That's the future at your location. You're going to monetize your chargers in a different way using ChargePoint's charging stations. That's something that our company will be focused on, that technology for sure, and bringing that to light as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I am very excited for that one. Just to add to Bobby and Nate, I think having worked in a dealership setting, there's a lot of little tiny problems that you'll run into with charging, and even adapters, for example, are one of them. So not having to pull out an adapter is something I'm really excited about one day. But we've really optimized our products to solve all of those little tiny problems that you'll run into.
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting. I was at a car dealership 5 days ago, and a woman came up to a charger she had a Kia, and she went to try and plug into a fast charger, but it only had a level 2 outlet. So she wasn't educated on that experience. It created a bad, and actually the dealership came up to me and said, "Hey, can you unplug your car?" And I, explained to the car dealership that, this station doesn't charge your car. But I think, one thing that we want to be able to provide as a group is an improved customer experience that sells more cars. Those experiences is not going to happen with ChargePoint, with EVready, we're going to make sure that these chargers are used the right way with the right experience and the right messaging to customers as well.
Yeah. Well said, Chris. I mean, one of the clear things across the industry is, you see the industry continue to experience this steady growth, more and more people considering EVs, researching them, purchasing them. And our role, all of us are certainly in this together, is to make it a better experience for drivers. And so, you talk about some of the uniqueness of how ChargePoint and EVready plays into that responsibility. And from our point of view, certainly the commercial aspect of what we do is a big aspect of solving problems for auto dealers, OEMs, et cetera. We also have a really superior residential solution in our home chargers. So, certainly there's a lot of customers out there. One of the biggest questions that they're always asking is, where do I charge my car? And so when you talk about working with partners like, ChargePoint and EVready, I think, we've certainly looked across the board and have found a way to develop great products across both, the residential market, commercial market, fleet applications. So it's certainly something we're focused on.
In terms of talking about an ecosystem, at the end of the day, the inventory might not be at your dealership today to be concerned about selling all your electric vehicles, but it is going to be there soon. And one of the major things I don't think people take into account in general is, what's your ecosystem in terms of customer experience? Are you Apple or are you Android? And I think if you're a car dealership, what you want to prevent is 5 different types of hardware, 3 different types of software, a different home charging sales story, a different public charging sales story. It's not a scalable EV sales strategy, especially as people come and go. And that's, we want to make sure that we're creating the right ecosystem so that you can tell one story. It's a strong experience, a sales experience for the customer, and they leave there feeling confident about not only the product that they bought, but you as an EV expert. Okay, so I'm going to transition topics slightly by giving one more thing that's so critical. And, think about ChargePoint again, like Apple and Android, where ChargePoint's created its own language, its own protocol, from software to hardware. It's more advanced. It has more features. But I think probably if you're a car dealership, what you really care about is that from a support perspective, you can solve problems faster. That's probably the most important thing. That being said, ChargePoint is OCPP compliant, meaning ChargePoint can work off of a standard operating protocol while having a more advanced protocol at the same time. And again, it helps with station support issues. But the thing that I want to ask the team here is, what continues to improve about ChargePoint's station support experience over time? Nate, maybe you can kick it off.
Yeah, well, Chris, certainly we get a lot of questions about OCCP compliance, and that is certainly becoming the expectation in the industry. That minimum is expected across the board, and we certainly play by the rules there. But I'll say I think it's fair to say we hold ourselves to a higher standard, and that's a lot more. That's a lot more in both the product and software side of what we do. And, I would say our responsibility on the support side is vitally important in the automotive vertical, more so than any other vertical that we work with at ChargePoint. The key difference we see with auto partners is that it's critical to their operations. Most of the time, they don't have an abundance of chargers. They have several chargers that are used at a very high rate each day to support their operations. And so what's a little unique about auto partners is there's not a lot of room for error. And the expectation is the chargers are going to work all the time. And if they break, that they're repaired quickly, efficiently, and they're back online as soon as possible. And I think that's where we really shine and differentiate ourselves. You see our customer service becoming really the North Star of what we do, having a robust set of experts in this space who can take care of these customers quickly, because that is really, from my point of view, the big differentiator of EV charger providers today. Anyone can sell, hardware product that they may or may not manufacture on their own, but the service is really where companies seemingly fall short, and where I think we shine. Bobby, what would you add to that?
Well said. We offer various warranty platforms, from mission critical, tight 24-hour SLAs, our standard assure warranty, or even just extended parts warranty, because we understand that it's an expense, but it goes to your overall business operations. Whether you expect to have the charger repaired within 24 hours, a couple of business days, or it's something that you're just going to pay by the drink. And so once again, ChargePoint is here to tailor to your operations and really to fit your bill.
Yeah, the thing I would add is if I'm talking to a car dealership, I think what I would explain is, can you get by without the fully stacked solution? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes do you not have not have all the issues that could potentially happen? But in our experience, because station support is such a challenging topic, we've created a solution that helps with station support across the industry, not just ChargePoint. And I think what we found so far is sometimes you have firmware communicating with the software that's causing a problem, or sometimes the software is causing an issue with the hardware. And the most challenging, the most complex issues to solve are really difficult to solve when you're piecing all of the puzzle pieces together. And It creates a really bad experience. And if you're at a car dealership and maybe you only have a few cars, coming right now, but if you're planning on having your charger for 10 years, and you should plan on having your charger for 10 years, this is going to create like business operations problems at your location if you're not making like the right investment today. I think the best way to put it is, because ChargePoint owns the stack, the breadth of small issues that can take up a lot of time don't become your time and are resolved much more quickly. Whereas in other issues, sometimes you might just have to replace the station or replace the software, and it just becomes more of a headache. This isn't going to be, if you're not going to hire someone full time to be doing this all day long, that's where I think you guys kind of shine.
Well, and Chris, this is where, again, what's becoming more unique in the space is, providers who manufacture, design, engineer, deploy their own equipment in-house. You've seen some of the EV charger companies come and go, and that, when they go, that really creates a lot of problems for automotive customers who are balancing a lot of different needs. So, the support increasingly is more and more important. I'll say, one big transition we've tried to make on the team, Chris, you and I have done a lot of different deployments across OEMs and auto dealerships. One of the things we lean heavily on is being more proactive across the board, but especially on the service side of how we approach a deployment. So when you look at the services, a lot of companies are reacting to issues as they happen. A lot of the projects that we've partnered on, the intent of the service is that in many cases, we're going to be notifying a customer about an issue before they have any idea that there's an issue at play. Parts have been ordered. They're already rolling on a truck down to the dealership. Service repairs have already been scheduled. So we've really changed our mindset, particularly with automotive customers, that reacting to issues in a positive way for customers is not enough anymore. The stakes are too high in the automotive vertical. So we really prioritize a proactive approach to how our services work. And you see a lot of dealerships, particularly larger groups that have, let's say, more than 40 or 50 locations, really seeing a lot of value in the way that we can respond to issues before they're even aware of them and address them efficiently so that they can get back online and continue running their operations with little to no disruption in their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Which kind of is a good segue into, the last piece here. Nate, can you talk a little bit about the partnership between ChargePoint EVready, how we work together with customers, and how we think we provide more value together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ChargePoint at our core, we're an exceptional manufacturer of both charging hardware and services. And while we are around it all the time, we are certainly not the experts when it comes to operationalizing ongoing cost savings, when it comes to dealing with a lot of different state dynamics, utility factors, rate tariffs. One thing that I think was missed 4 to 5 years ago when a lot of OEMs were kind of sprinting towards launching new EVs was the consideration for long-term ongoing costs of running EV chargers at a site. And that is really where EVready's expertise lies, and where they add a exceptional amount of value is breaking down a specific site and really developing a plan that is going to save that auto customer money now and into the future, based on either adding new infrastructure or in a lot of cases managing existing infrastructure. You and I, Chris, have worked on several large deployments for many different brands, and there's a lot of different needs. One of the things that has certainly become one of the hotter ones is managing demand charges. So I'm sure you could talk about that all day long, but at the end of the day, it's about finding solutions that save our customers money on an ongoing basis, and I think that's really where EVready and ChargePoint can deliver a ton of value for auto clients.
Yeah, and to add to that, with regards to OEM relationships, setting up dealer programs is really important. And what we typically always saw, as Nate said, is, hey, you should get XYZ hardware and put it in. And that feels right now like it's the easy button, but it really isn't, because it does not set you up for success in the future. So every single time I'm working with an auto manufacturer on what they may want to do next, we always bring in Chris. He's our number one expert, because we want to do right by the dealer and not just give you hardware options. We want to make sure that we're looking at the big picture, your entire dealership, not just your 2 charging stations. And doing this has really helped dealers save a ton of money and just have a better experience overall.
I mean, as you guys know, I mean, that's well said, Shannon. Because a lot of people assume some of the heavy costs are on the front end of purchasing equipment, and certainly those are big bets, big investments. But the ongoing costs of running the chargers themselves and the interaction with your utility company can really make or break whether there's a clear ROI on the infrastructure that you're using. So I think that's you almost can't plan far enough in advance for those things. And that's really where the partnership shines.
So for people who are listening, essentially EVready has developed a software that is integrated with ChargePoint software. It provides the whole solution. We like to call it like the EV charging industry's Iron Dome. So it really protects, especially car dealerships, from things. It's funny, I was talking to a car dealership earlier today. They sent me an electric bill between 1 month and the next month, and the electric bill doubled, and it was because their chargers were installed. What we want to do is we want to help customers put in the best, most future-proofed charging technology that will provide the best experience to drivers and business owners, and then we want to protect them with our solution. That's why we work so well together. So thank you all for taking the time to be on the podcast. Really appreciate it, and I'll catch you soon.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.